Hi, welcome to Camping UK. My name's Richard. Just going to show you a little demonstration of your hire vehicle. So this is our Carado A361. It's a 6-berth with 6 travelling seats. At the top you have a fixed double bed. At the back there's 2 bunk beds, and then there's a lounge conversion as well. This model is probably more suited for 4 people over 6, because your lounge area will only sit 4 in it. But if you wanted to, you could have a look at our A461, where it's a slightly bigger version and does sit 6 people around the dining area. So starting off with the keys that you'll be given. That's your Fiat main key, and that's what we call the habitation key. So this will operate anything that's part of the vehicle. So your top bottom will unlock, and your bottom one will lock. To start the vehicle, you press the middle button, open it up, and just put it inside as such. The noise that you can hear at the minute is because we've got our step left out, so it's just a safety feature. So if you come across the same noise when you start it, then that's your first thing, just to check. The motor is also fitted with a reversing camera, which I'll show you where it is on the outside. But it just means when you're backing up onto your pitch, you can just look for any obstacles behind. This model comes with a radio fitted, and as there's no built-in sat-nav, we include a camping motorhome sat-nav in here as well. Or if you wanted to, you could use your own mobile phone sat-nav, where you just lift this area up here. There's a little lever on the side, and that creates a little holder that you can put onto there as well if you wanted to use your own. And just some normal features that will do: your windscreen wipers, your lights are on the opposite side with indicators, and then underneath it's your cruise control. It is a manual 6-speed automatic, 6-speed manual gearbox, which is self-explanatory how they all go on there. And then you have got air conditioning in the front if you need it as well. So we'll just do a quick walk on the outside of the vehicle. At the top, you've got a wind out awning. So to operate that, in the boot there's a winding handle for it, so that slides and locks into place. You pop that into here and twist it round. We'll only bring it out a short way for this demonstration, but they will extend to about 2.5 metres in length. Once you've got it out to your desired length, if you just bring this arm out and pull it out towards the side of the motorhome, drop the legs down, and when you've got a desired height, this catch needs to be lifted up to lock it into place. Sometimes people think down, it doesn't support. Just a word of note, this is really a sun canopy, so if it's got rain on the agenda or strong wind, it's advisable that you don't put it out, because they can cause damage. In order to put it away, release the clip down again, slide it up, put it back into position, get your leg up here behind the plastic clip, so that when you push this across, then the metal clip will go behind the plastic there, so it won't cause any damage when you're winding it back in. And to wind it back in, it's just the opposite way. In the boot space, you'll find the bits that you need from us. So you've got electric hookup cable, you've got a hose pipe to fill up the water, and you have some toilet fluids. I'll just run a little bit more of how they work as we get our way around. Also, on this model, you do have a bike rack that will carry 3 bikes. But if you needed more storage space while you're travelling, there's a little lever here which lowers the lower bunk bed up to create a bigger boot while you're driving. Just at the back, you'll see in a black toolbox, a black plastic box, that's your roadside repair kit. So it includes a jack, tow and eye, and wheel brace should you need it. So at the top, you've got your reversing camera, which links up to the screen that we mentioned before. And the bike rack, like I say, it will carry 3 bikes, but the total weight shouldn't exceed 60 kilograms. with your 3 bikes on there. Coming around the other side of the motorhome, here's your toilet cassette. The door holds up by a magnet. When you need to get into it, there's a little blue lever down here. If you just lift that up, that will open it. Before you're going to use the toilet, there is some toilet fluid included in the boot. Just pull this arm over, twist it open, put a little cap full of toilet chemical in there, a little bit of water, give it a rinse round, and that will just help mask smells and break down any solids. There is a way to tell when it is full, which I'll show you once we get inside the vehicle. And when you're ready to load it back in, it just clips in place and locks in. This is your water filling point. So as this is part of the motorhome, we use the motorhome key. And that's where you just fill it up. So if you use a hose pipe included, or you could ask us to make sure it's full beforehand, just put your hose pipe in until it starts showing up to the top, and then you know you've got your full water in there. This is your gas locker. So your gas locker is going to, well, contain your gas obviously, but your gas is going to run your cooking appliances. If you're not a mains hookup, which we are now, so we've got a hookup cable attached to it, then this will also run your heating, and it will work your fridge as well. With ourselves, we always supply a full bottle as a spare, and then the other one is of just what we've got left in it. So if you needed to change this while you're on your holiday, in your glove box, we'll leave some tools for you, one being a gas spanner. One thing to notice when you're changing these, the thread is a backwards thread, so it's a lefty-loosey, you go lefty to tighten it up rather than your typical right. So yeah, it's just a basic thread. If sometimes you're going to the vehicle, you can't get gas through it, but you know you've got gas in your bottle, it might just be that this has reset itself. So there's a little black button at the top there. If you just push that, if there's a little surge, and gas will get itself through there. We will leave the gas in the off position, but if you just have a look at the top, there's directional arrows to tell you which way to go. So because we're going to be demoing some bits in there in a second, we want the gas on, so we just wind it up to let the gas through. So we talked about where you fill up your fresh water. So there's a water tank on board. Underneath the vehicle is a wastewater tank. So anything that goes down the sink or the shower, any down either the sinks or the shower will be collected in a wastewater tank. When you need to empty it, you have this little handle on this bracket here, and it's half a turn one way to open it up, and then the opposite way to close it back down again. And lastly, on the outside is your fuel cap. So this bit being Fiat, you'd use your Fiat key to open it up. We will give you the vehicle with full fuel, and we expect it to be returned in the same way. Underneath is your AdBlue. We will top these up before they go out on hire. The new vehicles do like to consume a fair amount of AdBlue. If you do get a warning light on the dash, which looks similar to the symbols that are on here, or that one being the right way around, you should have about 500 to 1,000 miles left in the tank. But if you are concerned, just get a bottle, top it up, and we'll refund you on that piece. Shouldn't be any reason that you need to get into the engine, but if you do, the engine bonnet release catch is just located here. Just give that a pull forwards. Then about halfway underneath, there's a little catch to release. Should you need it, the vehicle can be jump started. Down here, just put your key in there. That would be the earth, and just in here in the middle would be the negative. So sorry, positive down this side, negative on that side. The main thing to open the bonnet for was just to direct you in your levels. So your main one being the screen wash at the back, and then that's your engine coolant. So this is your mains hookup. So that's your male end, your hookup lead, your female end. Just plug it in, assuming that you're at a campsite that's got one. If you plugged in, then all your plug sockets will work. If you're wild camping, then it'll just be any 12 volt sockets that work. All your lighting's 12 volt as well. And that's nothing to worry about. That's just a condensator for the boiler, so any fumes that come out of the boiler will just escape through that way. So let's get ourselves inside. With the sleeping arrangements, so above the drivers and passengers you've got your double bed. There's a ladder here for access, just some hooks on here and hooks onto these grey areas. Also use your ladders to get up to the top. At the rear of the motorhome, you've got two single bunk beds, one low down, one high. There's another ladder provided that also clips on the top there for you. Alright, so now looking at your kitchen. So just to make sure before you use anything gas-wise, these are your gas isolation valves. Just make sure they're pointing up and down rather than sideways. That'll make sure that your gas is coming through. Whenever you're changing a bottle for the first time or using the gas for the first time, it's always a good idea to run some gas through a smaller appliance like the cooker tops to start off with before you try running it through the fridge. On this model, there's no igniter, so you just got to push, hold it down, get a lighter near it, keep it down for about 10 seconds just to make sure the gas is running through, and then if you let go, it should stay lit. If you were to let go straight away, then it would probably just go straight out. And then when you're done doing what you need to do, just bring it back up to the top. The oven's quite self-explanatory as well, so if you're using the oven feature, push in, turn it onto one side and use the igniter till it lights. Let go of the igniter, again give it a little bit of time just to get the gas working through, let go and it's done. This model also incorporates it as a grill. Just bring it down, go to the other side, and again just hold it, keep the button held in for a good 5-10 seconds, let go, and there's your cooking. Onto the fridge. In this sort of mode you best just leave it as it is, which is it's an automatic fridge, so it will pick the best power source that's needed. You just press one button to wake it up. Because we're on mains hookup, it's going to use the electric that we're plugged into. If you were camping without mains hookup, then it would run on your gas bottles. And if you leave it on the auto function while you're driving, it will run off the vehicle battery. Just one thing to point out, if you've been driving and you get somewhere and you try and turn it onto gas, you're going to have to wait about 15-20 minutes before it'll do that switch over, just as a safety feature in case you're at a petrol station. If you do need to change any of the settings yourselves, then you can just press the left button there to pick your source. So that's automatic, the best solution. That's power by itself. So it's not letting me choose a battery because the engine ain't running, or gas. Obviously the gas is still on, so it should ignite through. And this will just do your temperature. So ideally you want it on the middle setting. And it's a fridge at the bottom with a freezer compartment on top. Not that you should need this, but it's just worth noting in case you do experience it on holiday. But this is a frost protection unit, so if you're hiring off us over the winter, you might need to just take this of note. Basically, this unit will make sure that the underneath water tank isn't at risk of freezing. So if it reaches a certain temperature, it will open itself up. So at the minute, you'll see that the blue diamond is going across, and this little blue button down here is flush with the unit. If you come to the vehicle, you fill it up with water, but you notice that the water is just coming straight back out, that most likely causes that this has set itself. So if you open this cupboard and you see that the diamond's pointing up and down and the button's out, then that's going to be the issue. Just in order to put it back, just move the diamond back to where it should be and push the blue button in, and it will lock into place. So this is the main control panel for the vehicle. The yellow light indicates that we're hooked up. This just turns the power on and off to the vehicle. Down the bottom here, you've got a couple of light switches, but this light will work without the control panel being on, just in case you come back to the vehicle at night, at least you can get some light. So we'll turn it back on. These buttons at the side, that just indicates your leisure battery, how strong it is. the bit underneath shows you how much fresh water you got in the vehicle, and that one shows you how much wastewater that there is in the vehicle. With the Carado systems, the water pump kicks in when you turn the taps on, so when you lift it up, it's just working there. We'll show you how to set the water temperatures on the panel in a minute, but there's no need to turn on any water pump when you want to use it. Just one thing to please bear in mind, don't turn the taps on if there's no water in the system, because that's not good for the water pump. And then the plugs just pop in and out. So moving over to the heating and hot water. So this is your Trima system. So where I was showing you the frost protection system, the boiler for that's just located down there. To wake the system up, just press once on the round button, and all we're going to talk about are the items at the top, because that's all that's really required. So if we go to the left, we've got the motor home flashing. From here you can select a temperature of anywhere between 5 and 30 degrees. It's a quite hot day today, so we'll put it onto the 30 just to show you how it works. Secondly is your water. So the minute it sets it off, if you choose it onto Eco, that will heat to 40 degrees. If you slide it again to hot, that will heat to 60 degrees. If you put it on boost, then the boiler will put all its energy into the water, and the heating will basically be cut out. It won't put any heating in the vehicle. So basically 40 or 60 is all that you're required. And I'll just put on 60 for now. Next one is your source of power. So we're plugged into mains electric, so we use an electric. If you're not on electric, then you want to be putting it on gas. Obviously, mentioned before, you need to make sure that your gas bottles are on. Ideally have a little bit run through the cooker first. If you get thrown up any error messages, so sometimes if you try to turn the gas on without the gas bottles being on, or you've run out, an error message will show up. It could be handy to Google them, but usually if the error codes are flashing for a little bit, you got to wait till they're solid till you can close it. So at the minute we're back on gas. And then the last one is just your fan speed. So Eco will be nice and quiet, and high will just make the fans work a little bit harder. So it's a blown air system, the fan blows the heat round. Just the high will be a little bit noisier. So just to explain what the top's doing now. As I said, it's a hot day today, so we're already at 30 degrees. So the solid light indicates we're at where we set it to. Because we've just turned the water on, it's flashing because it's 40 or 60 degrees that we've set it up at yet. That just shows us still that we're on the gas and that we've chosen a quite fan speed setting. Lastly, we've got the toilet here. So the toilet lid does swivel, just to put it in the right comfortable position for you. Lift the lid up. Down here you've got a little grey lever. That basically opens into the cassette area. When needed, blue button at the back just to give it a flush, and then that's your indicator to let you know when it's full. So green at the minute it's empty. When it changes colour, then you need to empty it out. Shower will just work like it does with the other taps, so just lift it up when you're ready to use, and it's hot and cold mixer, and just set it to the desired temperature. So we hope you have a great holiday with us. Any questions, give us a call. Thank you.